This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
With the legend that is Alain Poupart, and the Montreal Expos hat is back. There we go. By the way, I was talking about this because I can talk music with you. Isn't it odd? Because somebody was just asking me if I'm going to go see the Stones, and I've seen them several times, but there's no way I'm paying for the prices that are at the Hard Rock because it's a tiny little place. You're paying like $1,000 in the nosebleeds to see them. You know what I mean? No, I've seen them many times. Anyways, but isn't it weird, dude, how Charlie Watts and Dusty Hill die, and like the Stones and ZZ Top have just kept touring? Like it was like a pit stop. He died. Let's bury him. Let's go. We move on. And it was just like, isn't that weird?
Yeah, but by the same token, wouldn't you think that before they passed, they would have told
Yes.
their bandmates, guys, rock on, rock on.
Yeah. I said the same thing. I said the same thing.
Yeah. No, but yeah, those prices are crazy. I mean, there are not that many acts for which I would pay that kind of money, and the Rolling Stones.
No. The only act I would pay that kind. There's only one act I would pay that kind of money for is the reunion of Led Zeppelin.
Okay.
That's it. It's over. There's nobody else that I would pay that kind of money for, especially when I've seen them so many times, dude. I'm good. It's not like I'm not one of those people sitting back going, "Oh man, I wish I saw the Stones." No, dude, I saw the Stones with Van Halen in Orlando. You know, it's just like I saw the Stones all over the place. So I'm good. I've seen them in the Orange Bowl. I've seen them at Hard Rock. I've seen them all over the place. I'm good. I'm good with the Stones. So, but that is expensive, dude, to go to that damn concert, man.
Crazy.
All right. Any developments today in the Dolphin Nation?
Not yet, but it's early. Usually they make roster moves, and wouldn't surprise me if they did. Usually they'll come late afternoon. For example, I mean, I don't know how major this is, but I rewatched the game yesterday, and I saw the play on which Jamal Perry went down and looked like it was a non-contact injury, and immediately grabbed his knee. And I mean, I don't want to speculate, but it certainly didn't look good. So if you wound up being placed on IR today, wouldn't surprise me in the least. Tomorrow is going to be an interesting day because they have 4 players who are eligible to come back from IR this week: Parker, Fuller, Michael Dieter, Malcolm Brown. And we asked Brian Flores about all of those guys yesterday, and what we got was, we'll see, day-to-day, all working to get back and all that. And interestingly enough, as the Dolphins keep winning, Flo is getting back to his mode of being very tight with information on injuries. Now, it could be that it's legitimately he doesn't know, or they are inching back, and he legitimately didn't know if any of those 4 would be available to practice tomorrow. But again, it seemed to be when they were 1-7, he seemed to be a lot more forthcoming with that kind of information. Unlike now when they're 4-7, which obviously is better, and making a little bit of a move here.
By the way, speaking of information, it seemed like he wasn't necessarily that happy that his conversation with the players before this whole streak thing about "we believe in you" got out of it. You could tell he was uncomfortable about it, because his whole thing is, what stays in the locker room and all that. And he's kind of like hoping the players would go along with it. And then all of a sudden somebody opens their mouth and talks about this whole thing. And it kind of became a story now.
It did. But by the same token, I mean, was there anything that Elijah Campbell revealed that Flores said that you wouldn't expect a coach to say?
Right. No.
I believe if you guys were going to turn it around, we're just going to start playing more type of football. I mean, there's nothing really revealing there, to be honest with you. But as you mentioned, Flo's the type of guy. What happens inside the Dolphins facility stays inside the facility, and I'm going to guess Mr. Campbell probably might have had a sit down at some point saying, "Son, no." But I'll tell you this: the guy is very, very good on special teams. So if he was a marginal guy, and I would think that might have been a fireable offense, but the fact that kid's good on special teams. I mean, that's all he does, but he is very good on special teams. Well,
he's going to suffer some kind of fate for this, because look at Charlie Fry. He opened his mouth to the quarterback from the Dilfer, and all of a sudden that whole three-headed combination thing changed, then Godsey was making all the calls directly after that. So, after it got out, things changed. So yeah, he's not a fan of that kind of stuff.
No, but things change as far as we know. I mean, do we really have a clear handle as to who's making the calls on defense?
No.
I mean, on offense and on defense for that matter. I mean, it's still.
Yeah, but it's not. You would be able to tell if he was doing it on every play. You know what I'm saying? Now, listen, he might be doing the same thing every head coach does. A key fourth down, midfield. Do we go for it? Do we stay? Obviously, the head coach usually makes that decision and says, "All right, guys, let's go for it. Let's not go for it." Or hey, let's be. I remember the story that I was told that that once you crossed, I believe it was the 35 or 40 yard line, 35 yard line. Wannstedt was in the headsets telling Norv or whoever was the offensive coordinator or any of the offensive coaches that were on the headset going, all right, guys, let's be careful. We're in field goal range already. So he was already thinking field goal right from the get-go. And so, coaches do influence some of this stuff. Doesn't necessarily mean they're calling the plays, but they might be telling or indicating, hey, stay aggressive or stay conservative or something along those lines. And in Wannstedt's case, it was one of those things that the second they crossed the 40 or the 35, I forgot what the story was, immediately Wannstedt would keep reminding them, hey, guys, we're in field goal range, because Wani wouldn't mind field goal and depend on the defense. Field goal, defense, field position. That's what he loved to play.
Makes me think that maybe he somehow got into the headset at the end of the first half on Sunday, right?
Well, you never know. That's what I'm saying. These are the things that kind of happen behind the scenes.
Maybe
we don't know about. You know what I mean? You only find out about it, years later. That yeah, dude, this guy was already thinking field goal the second we crossed midfield there, and it's like, holy crap, you already have a defeatist attitude as it is. All right, so now that you've been able to step away from the game for the last couple of days and probably rewatched it, what have you learned, Mr. Poupart?
I don't know if I learned it, but it just reinforced it to me that considering how much everybody, including yourself, have ragged on the offensive line, on the play calling, I think both of those groups deserve a tip of the hat for the game plan and the execution against the Jets, which Tua then executed to close to perfection. It was, a lot of quick, short throws that alleviate pressure on the offensive line, and the offensive line did a very good job. There was very few instances where there was heavy pressure on Tua, and then Tua did his job in getting the ball out quickly and accurately, and the receivers were getting open. I know I saw somewhere where somebody was complaining about the receivers not being open, and I'm like, dude, did you not watch the Jets game? Those receivers were open the entire game.
Yeah, they got separation.
Yeah, the flip side, though, is they were playing the Jets, and that's
right.
I don't think it's going to be quite as easy when they play Carolina, but for the game against the Jets, it was a very good game plan. It was very well executed from everybody on offense, and yes, also in starting with Tua, who had a very
I'm with you there. No, we got to give the O-line a little love. We got to give the offense a little love. They did play, a little better. Hey, man, listen, dude, they popped a few runs. And they popped more longer runs in this game than they had all season. So it was refreshing to see them hit an 8, 10, 12-yard run every once in a while. That's nice, man. That alleviates a lot of pressure off of him. Now, when you talk about Tua playing a little better, I've kind of compared this, that when Fitz took over, 2 years ago, he has lived his entire life in chaos as a backup quarterback, filling in, taking over in the worst situations, all of that kind of stuff. So he was suited for what went on here. You look at the 16 games. Oh, is it 16 that Tua's played or 15? Is it 15 or 16? It's pretty close. Whatever.
Yeah, we can. It depends if we're counting.
Whatever it is. Whatever it is, 15, 16. He is now learning how to handle the chaotic state that you're in, like you're talking about. quick delivery, get rid of it quickly, don't put a lot of pressure on the O-line. He's understanding a lot about what's going on and the decisions he has to make and the way he has to play because of the conditions around him right now. And, that's something that Fitz could easily adjust to because that's been his whole life. For the kid, it took him a little while, but you can tell, right? He's gotten a little better with that, with the chaotic situation around him.
Well, what he's done to me at times is move well within the pocket when there's pressure around him. There were a couple of plays I didn't like the sack that should have been a sack that was nullified by the bogus defensive holding penalty. That was a case of not understanding the situation because they were in field goal range and he held the ball. He had time.
Yes.
He looked, and then all of a sudden got himself tackled at the 40-yard line and got bailed out by. And again, they were bad calls on both sides in that game.
Yes.
5 egregious calls, 3 against the Dolphins, 2 against the Jets. That one was huge. That's a play I didn't like. There were a couple of plays. The one to Mac Hollins, though, that one. He just did a very subtle little step up to avoid the rusher from the outside who had grabbed his shoulder a little bit. That's the type of thing he has to do. So there's progress in that area. But to me right now, as the team is constituted and as also plays to his strengths, the type of offense that we saw against the Jets is what needs to work. And it's not going to be always going to be easy. And right now, Tua to me still looks like he's risk averse, where he's not going to chuck it downfield unless his guy is wide open. The pass to Jalen Waddle that wound up getting picked off, unless I'm severely mistaken, that was a third down play where he just wanted
got
to
away from him.
But that goes against his instincts, and that's not just me saying that. Tua himself has repeated that many times in interviews that if he doesn't see it, he's not going to try it. That's kind of part of taking that next level, though, as a quarterback, is making those throws where your guy's not totally open. But again, that's the next step for him to take.
Well, he ranks high in his throws with very little space between the receiver and the DB. He's actually, Travis Wingfield just brought it up on our show a little while ago. I think he's like 4th in the league in that stat of smallest space of completing a pass actually in the NFL this year.
I've rewatched every single game, and the ones where he had his big performances, I don't know where Travis gets his stats, and I'm not going to argue with him. Like, for example, the Jets game on Sunday, there were 3. There was an out to Waddle, there was one to Gesicki, and there's another one like a quick slant to Waddle.
Right.
Out of 27 completions, and I don't know what they call tight window or not tight window.
The Gaskin one was a tight window.
No, it wasn't. The dude came. You talking about the touchdown?
Yeah, the touchdown. Didn't he have the guy on the right? Wasn't the guy on the right side right close to him? Not the guy on the left. He came in after, but the guy on the right.
You're talking about pressure.
No, not on Tua. I'm talking about the receiver. He had somebody close to him. They were right there.
Gaskin ran across the middle. It was wide open. I don't know what play you saw there.
The one that they whack his head. He got sandwiched.
The backside guy whacked his head. He was clearly
the guy on the right side was right next to him, and then the guy on the left that whacked his head is the one that came in from the pass. Yes.
Well, if that's a tight window throw, then I need to go relearn.
Yeah, it's like within I think he said within a yard and a half, or whatever it is, or something like that. He follows all those geeky stats. He's great at that stuff.
Yeah, some of those metric sites, I take them.
I know. I get it. I've
been doing this for like 30 years. I'm gonna trust my eyes. I mean,
No, I know. We're old school in our sense. I know. Travis is more new school in his sense when he does it, but he knows his stuff about that. So I always give him the respect in that area because he does follow it. But he does have accuracy. That's not really an issue with the kid in ball placement, at least.
He has short intermediate range, great accuracy. Never argued that.
If you had a concern this week against Carolina, what is it for the Dolphins? What would be the concern for you?
Well, I have a concern that their offense is going to get choked out because it's not the Jets or Houston they're playing. And Carolina has a bear of a front 7. Derek Brown, Brian Burns, Shaq Thompson, So that's going to be a little different ball game than facing the Jets or the Texans, as I mentioned. And on the other side, Christian McCaffrey is a different animal than they've seen, in the past couple of weeks. They're facing Cam Newton, who by all accounts, I didn't see the game. I haven't seen the highlights. By all accounts, had a solid outing against Washington, though it still wound up ending in a loss. But my bigger concern, I think the Dolphins are back to the point where I'm not really worried about them getting blown out defensively.
Right.
I think they're playing.
You're worried about the other side.
Kirk, I'm worried about the offense against good defenses, and that's one of those. And because to me, I looked at this stretch of games, and Carolina's the one that stood out like a sore thumb. If they can get through this one, then you got the Giants and the Jets after that, and 7-7 is looking extraordinarily realistic. At which point, then you can start looking at all the playoff permutations. But you got to get through Carolina, which I think is going to be a bit of a challenge for the offense. That's my concern.
Where are you with the special teams? What kind of where are you on the concern meter with the special teams? Because there seems to be some inconsistencies at time with special teams.
Yeah. Here's the thing, and let's not forget how big a role Jason Sanders played last year in the 2006, and this year it's just not there. I mean, and in fact, funny you should mention that because I just finished writing a story about Jason Sanders exploring his struggles. Came up with some interesting little tidbits, so it's going to be up on the site this afternoon. And he's just not automatic anymore, and you can't rely on him the way you did last year. I mean, outside of that, are we really noticing a huge difference between Michael Pilardi and Matt Hawk? No. The return game.
Well, there was a little bit early on in the season.
Correct, but lately he's got to turn around.
He's gotten better. You are correct. Yes.
The return game, there's nothing major either being allowed or being produced. Maybe Jakeem Grant would have one return for a touchdown at this point. It's not there
at least one touchdown, maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah, not quite. You also don't have the fumble that you had earlier in the year with Jakeem. So, no, to me, this.
Damn it! Why couldn't you leave that out?
Yeah, well, facts. Those damn facts. To me,
those damn facts
about Jason Sanders and how disappointing it is that he's not getting it done this year.
Yeah, no, after signing that deal too. So it's not living up to the cash, man. That's us. All right, so what's the prediction? Where are you going with the Dolphins this week?
I have to tell you now.
Yeah, you're not on till post game.
No, I know, but I haven't finalized it yet. How about I'm going to leave it?
Everything's moved up a day, bro. I'm sorry.
No, I know, but
Wednesday technically. I need my trip to on Thursday. I need one day off at least. So
how dare you? Yeah, I need to deep dive Carolina. I'm not ready to do it yet. I'm going to do what's called a tease here. I'll have it up on Saturday on the website. It's right now. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be tough.
Okay. All right. Dolphins are going to win, folks, okay? That's all I'm saying, all right? Just
there you go.
Alan has no confidence, but I've got confidence in our Finns. They're going to get it done. They're going to make it 4 in a row. What are you working on the site besides that article there? Anything else that folks can check out there at Sports Illustrated, my friend?
Well, I'm going to keep keeping a close look at what's going to happen this afternoon in terms of roster moves, which I kind of would anticipate. Earlier today, did the report card for the game against the Jets. Pretty good grades all around. Not so much for the special teams as we discussed. Mentioned the Jason Sanders story coming up, and then whatever else pops up.
Beautiful. Follow him on Twitter at Poupart NFL. More importantly, follow him over there at Sports Illustrated. Bookmark that page. That way you can keep it, refresh it, and you'll catch all the latest articles. Alan, as always, you're a stud, my brother. Thank you for taking time.
Right back at you. Happy Thanksgiving, Big O.
Happy Thanksgiving, my friend. Enjoy the turkey and the family and the football. Be good.
All of it. Well, I don't know about the football. Some bad games going on. But
yeah, it's a kind of iffy. Yeah. That's our Sports Grill Miami Dolphins Insider Report.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.